What if I told you that there's an organization that'll pay for you to learn how to fly upside down? Yes, teach you how to fly aerobatics. And if you succeed in the end, they'll give you one of these. An International Aerobatic Club Primary Smooth Award for your I Love Me wall. This is the story of how I was awarded a scholarship in the USA to learn how to fly aerobatics and how you can apply for one too. In this video, we'll be touching on my first aerobatic flight in a T6 Harvard and how that ultimately led to flying a South African designed Sling 2 aircraft right over Los Angeles International Airport with the aviation legend, to doing inverted spins in a pit special somewhere near Santa Paula Airport in California as part of a scholarship that I had received.
It's an honor having Roland out here from South Africa. He's definitely our furthest away student when applicant, and it's been a real pleasure. He came here without ever doing a spin in his life, and now 5 days and 10 flights later is doing inverted flat spins with a smile on his face.
And don't worry, if aerobatics is not your thing, they also have scholarships for PPL, tailwheel endorsement, a solo glider rating, or an aerobatic judge certification. For those who like to keep their feet firmly on the ground or just like to fly straight and level. If there is two things that I want you to take away from the story that I'm about to tell you, it is that 1. There is still people and organizations in the world who do good in the aviation community and who can help you along your aviation journey that can be tough and expensive. And number 2, to never give up on your aviation goals and ambitions. Let me tell you a small part of my aviation story and provide you with some information that can help you on yours too. This is me, upside down in an aerobatic biplane somewhere near Santa Paula Airport in California, spinning inverted toward the ground at about 4,000 feet per minute and probably pooping my pants. Oh, and the guy in the back is Chris. He's a badass aerobatic instructor. And by badass, I mean as in good, like in the good bad. It's a saying. Bad, as in bad.
Okay.
Well, more about Chris later. It all started back in November of 1988, when I was born. Okay, maybe not that far back. The year was 2011, 2 years after I obtained my first pilot's license. My wife, with the help of my family, gifted me the opportunity to fulfill one of my aviation dreams, to fly in the AT6 Harvard. The Harvard is a legend in a lot of countries around the world, and thousands of pilots earned their wings in the Harvard from the 1940s right up to the 1990s, as was the case with the South African Air Force. Hence its nickname it received, the Pilot Maker. There is a lot of amazing videos on YouTube about the Harvard in the South African Air Force. I will link up to a pretty cool one in the description below. You can access that by pressing the More button and pressing the See More button again. YouTube changes this interface from time to time, so just click on those two buttons below to access the links to this video. I would highly encourage you to go look it up. You will not be disappointed. Alright, back to the story. So off I went to Air Force Base Swartkops in Pretoria, South Africa, where an ex-South African Air Force Harvard with tail number 7024 was waiting for me on the tarmac. Little did I know how this flight would break open a dimension of freedom and movement that I never knew existed. The art and the joy of flying aerobatics, graceful looping and swooping through the sky. This flight in the Harvard switched on a light and a passion inside of me that would still inspire me to this day. I just knew that this form of flight was something that I wanted to pursue, but little did I know how difficult it would be and the challenges that I would have to face, even to this day 12 years later. And so my time with Harvard 7024 came to an end that day. I left there with a seed planted in my heart, memories that would last a lifetime. Oh, and this fridge magnet and this, whatever you call it, thingy. Oh, and this hat that says, the Pilot Maker, T6 Harvard. Pretty cool, eh? My beloved wife saw what this experience in the Harvard had meant to me, so she arranged a flight for me in an extra 300 with one of my aviation heroes, Alice Levine. For years, I stood in countless South African air shows watching Alice perform in air shows, flying the Harvard with the South African Flying Lions, flying the Pit Special in, at that time, the Gabriel Pit Specials, tail lifts. They had different sponsors. And I watched him in the extra 300 with Brad Bennett's in the Mazda Zoom aerobatic display team. And that really meant a lot to me, to be able to fly with him. I believe Alice was also a captain on the Airbus A340 with South African Airways at the time. These days I see him selling some of the coolest coffee on the planet, Hired Gun coffee. Both these 4-ship aerobatic formation display teams were flown by the same 4 pilots. Alice Levine, his father Scully Levine, team owner Arnie Menegali, and Sean Thackeray. All 4 of these pilots deserve their own documentary in their own right. This crazy flight in the extra 300 gave me the opportunity to meet the rest of the Flying Lions formation aerobatic pilots, whom I'd been watching all these years along the airshow fence line. Team owner Arnie Menegali and team leader Scully Levine were extremely kind to me and gave me opportunities over the following years to fly with them in the formation aerobatic teams on non-display flights as a cameraman for my friend's production business. And it was so cool to have my wife experience aerobatics and formation aerobatics for the first time with me, with legendary South African airshow and airline captain Pierre Gous at the controls of the Harvard that she was in. This was a really cool experience. I'm so thankful to Scully Levine and Arnie Menegali for giving us this opportunity. Thank you. And it was pretty surprising to see how my wife's initial G tolerance was a lot better than mine. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one to swallow. All these amazing experiences kick-started my pursuit to try and become an aerobatic pilot myself. But this all came to a screeching halt pretty quick as I realized some of the realities of this sport and type of flying. It takes a lot of training, specialized training, expensive training that was well beyond my means at the time. And the tough reality of aerobatics is even if you can afford a little bit of training, you still have to remain current and proficient. If you can't go and start and continue doing it full time, you can become a danger to yourself and others by not being proficient and not staying current. So if you can't really afford it, maybe it's better just not to do it at all. I don't know, I guess it's debatable. Well, there is a few ways that you can get into aerobatics. Number 1, join the Air Force. This really wasn't viable for me at the time. Number 2, follow a career that helps make you heaps of cash that you can all take and dump into aerobatics. Well, I haven't sort of managed to achieve that yet. And number 3, be born into a family who flies aerobatics and who owns aerobatic planes. There's nothing wrong with this. If I would one day be in a position to do that for my children, I would. The only caveat to this option is that it's not really your choice. There are probably more ways of doing it depending on your specific situation and your phase of life. There's just so many things that you need to take into account. Well, there is one other way to kickstart your road to aerobatics that I never knew about. Enter the Figure One Foundation.
My name's Chris Olmsted. I started a small aerobatic flight school several years ago called Olmsted Aviation, which I enjoy teaching spin and unusual attitude training. Everything from low time pilots to 30,000 hour airline pilots. Really have a good time teaching aerobatics. Also, I'm a co-founder of the Figure One Foundation. Also promotes aerobatics and spin training and emergency training, as well as dip scholarships to people and kids in need for their private license that otherwise would have a financial challenge and try and get people a start in aviation. There's a lot of young people and not enough jobs to fill them. And the Figure One Foundation It's definitely showing some promise in the last 2 years, getting people their private license and tailwind and course well, and some aerobatic training.
I had some challenges recording this interview with Chris, as the lav mic that he was wearing for some reason never connected to the camera, so the audio was real bad, and I tried and fixed it with some AI software. But yeah, so if it sounds a bit funny, that's the reason why. Let's take a quick read from the Figure One Foundation website About page. I will also link to this page in the description, so please go to their website and have a look what they're all about. But yeah, let's read a bit. The Figure One Foundation is a non-profit organization dedicated to aviation scholarships. The foundation acts as a conduit between investors and determined individuals pursuing a career in aviation. We grant the appropriate funding, guidance, and access to the highest quality training available to people who otherwise might not have the means. Furthermore, the foundation inspires pilots who are already on a career path with advanced flight training scholarships, giving them the experience needed for better job placement. There's a lot more cool stuff on their website. Please go check it out. I'll link to it in the description. I quite coincidentally discovered the Figure One Foundation while I was on Facebook, and I saw an ad of aviation scholarships. I clicked on it, read what it was all about, and realized this is exactly what I needed. So I put together the best possible application that I could. Submitted it, and can you believe I was granted the scholarship?
Hell yeah, man. Congratulations, dude. That's amazing. Hell yeah.
So, I was awarded the 2018 scholarship for, let me read it to get the whole thing right. The scholarship for upset recovery, spin training, and introduction to aerobatics. There and then, my planning for my trip to California started. I had some amazing help from friends and family who all contributed to make this trip possible for me. For the fear of forgetting someone, I'm not going to mention everyone's names, but just put it this way, I have pretty cool family and friends who all supported me on this trip.
Many months later.
Finally, the time came for me to board my flight to Los Angeles via Heathrow Airport, where I saw the Concorde in real life for the first time. From there on onwards to Los Angeles, where I met up with my brother Alex and his wife Salmi, who flew in all the way from Australia, not far from where I've been living in New Zealand since 2019. Together we kicked off one of our must visits, the SpaceX facility in Hawthorne, where we got to see the infamous Falcon 9 rocket in the flesh and got to see the Hyperloop test grounds. We also went to get on board the USS Midway aircraft carrier in San Diego, where we got to see some pretty legendary aircraft. From there on, I made my way to Torrance Airport, also known as Zamperini, home of Robinson Helicopters and also the Sling Pilot Academy, where I met up with aviation legend John de Assenville. I still have your business card, John. Pretty cool. It's pretty wrinkled up, but yeah, still kept it. If you don't know who John de Assenville is, I highly recommend you look him up. But in short, he is one of the founders of Sling Aircraft in South Africa and now heads up the Sling Pilot Academy and the Sling Factory at Zamperini Torrance Airport. Among the many amazing things that he has done, one of my highlights is when he, together with Mike Blythe, founder of Sling Aircraft, flew the Sling 4 over 6,000 kilometers over the Atlantic Ocean from Rio de Janeiro to Cape Town, South Africa, non-stop. This was just one leg of their journey flying the Sling 4 around the world. John took me for a flight over LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, in the South African designed and built Sling 2. This whole experience was a special one for me, as I worked for the aeroplane factory, i.e. Sling Aircraft, in 2016 in Johannesburg as the final assembly manager, working with and for Mike Blythe and James Pittman. This was such a surreal moment as a South African, flying a proudly South African designed and built aircraft right over Los Angeles International Airport with an aviation legend, a moment that I'll never forget. From here, I traveled to my final destination, where all the action would take place, Santa Paula Airport. I met up with Chris Olmsted from Olmsted Aviation, who would put me through my paces for the next week. Chris is a highly experienced aerobatic pilot, who at the time in 2018 had about 8,000 flying hours, of which more than 3,000 as aerobatics. Chris is hands down one of the best instructors that I have ever flown with. His instruction style and his ability to teach is impeccable. And to top that off, he's just an all-round solid bloke. And this would be my residence for my time at Santa Paula Airport, bunking with this beautiful 1940s Luscombe to keep me company. And this is all thanks to the proud owner, Lisa. Lisa is also part of the Figure One Foundation team and was so kind to let me stay in her hangar. And on top of that, she also took me for a flight in her Luscombe along the coast just south of Santa Barbara. This was really awesome. Thank you, Lisa. I can honestly say I was overwhelmed by the kindness and hospitality of the whole Figure One Foundation team and the aviation community at Santa Paula Airport. You all made my stay unforgettable. And thanks Figure One Foundation for the shirt. Pretty cool. If you would like to donate to the cause of the Figure One Foundation or apply for one of their scholarships, please go check out their website that I linked below in the description. I've also linked to Olmsted Aviation's website where you can check out Chris's flight school. If you'd like to see how my aerobatic flight training with the Figure One Foundation went, you can click on this video here. It is a bit of a longer video, so make sure you set some time aside for that. If you want to watch a shorter, high energy video, you can click on that one here. And I made that with this camera, my very first camera, using this lens. Right, see you there.